Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome to the stage Ben Stammers.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming from far away and close. My name is Bent. I recently joined this company, and it's been a fantastic voyage so far. This is the biggest and the first event that I got to do with these genius people, and I'm happy to see you all showed up. Right. Why did we do this event? We did it because of you, because we wanted to make something for the community. We wanted to bring you all together for you to learn from each other and from us, especially for us, because we're going to get really technical in some of these sessions. So I hope you brought your notepads. We want to thank all of the partners behind me. I'm going to move so you can see their fantastic logos. This wouldn't be possible without them, so give them all a big hand. Most of them have demo stations in the area that we obviously have named the lawn outside, where you can check out everything from media servers to motion capture suits to the new NVIDIA Quadro RTX 6000 on demo in the PNY booth. There are 2 days, there are 2 tracks, which means, as some of you have pointed out on social media, that I'm going to miss something. Yeah, you are. Sorry about that. We couldn't do like a 4-day event. So we're doing 2 tracks, 2 days. This is one room. The other room, if you don't know, is outside, down the corridor, and to the right. Missed something? It doesn't matter. We're going to record them anyway and put them out afterwards. Deeply technical, as I said, community stories and interesting war stories. The panels and community talks are going to be in this room predominantly. And the deeply technical talks are mostly going to be in the other room. There are some exceptions, but that's basically it. All right. If you haven't already, and I've been nagging about this, check the schedule. Don't miss the thing you want to see, because even though we're recording, you will be missing your chance to talk to the team and talk to the speaker in the Q&A sessions. So if there's something you really want to see, be in that one. We don't have any investors. This company is owned by the people who make the product. So we don't have anyone to please by doing like, oh, do the social thing. So just do this for us, right? If you tag something with NotchCon, we get to see it and we get to be happy. If you see something that's made with Notch that makes you happy, tag it with Made with Notch. And with that, I would like to hand over the word to Notch co-founder, Luke Malcolm.
Cheers, thanks. Good morning. It's great to see you all today. I know a good number of you, but I'm really looking forward to meeting a whole bunch of you that I've not met before. So, life at Notch can feel a little bit like being strapped to a bullet train at the moment. It's full on, but it's not just full on for us. It's full on for all the artists and designers and technicians who are using Notch and actually making the magic happen all around the world. And I just wanted to recap some of the things that have taken place in 2018, because there have been a phenomenal number of projects which you guys have made, which are coming up on the screen behind me. They're just a small selection of them. But one of the things that really underpinned 2018 was just the sheer variety of projects that have taken place. Notch has always had a home in pop and rock and roll. And in 2018, that was still the case. But one of the things that really changed in 2018 was it was like the training wheels came off. And we've seen designers really push the boundaries and what can be done in live music and corporate events. Everything from context-aware iMag through to stage extension, to phase tracking, there's to the use of Notch with stage automation. There's been a huge variety of things that have been added to the palette. But the other thing that's happened in 2018 is that we've seen a lot of people strap Notch onto tracking camera systems and really open up Notch into the augmented reality space. And there's a number of talks which are taking place here at NotchCon that are really worthwhile seeing if you want to learn a little bit more about some of the workflows that are taking place there. Fixed installation has really grown across the year as well, and there's a lot of projects in flight in 2018 which will actually see the light of day in 2019, and we're really looking forward to seeing those projects that you've made at that time. So I haven't touched on a whole range of other topics like the use of Notch in stage, both here in London and in New York and around the world, and also in interactive projections. So, Notch has been used down at Trafalgar Square all the way through to Mexico City over the last year. So we want to say thanks. I can't tell you how good my job is when I get to wake up in the morning and look at the hashtags and see the projects that people are doing around the world. It gives us a huge amount of encouragement and enthusiasm to get on with what we're doing day to day. As you guys have expanded, we've needed to expand as well, and we've hired product specialists this year in a number of niche areas. So we've had people come in who are looking at physical-based rendering, lighting, materials, motion graphics, and they are all there to support you in the type of work that you're doing at the moment. We would really ask that you seek out these people. They're going to be doing lots of the talks here and build relationships with them because they are the guys who are going to be able to support you in detail on the projects that you are doing. We've got to the point now, through the expansion, that we now have people in Norway, Finland, France, and the UK, and that will continue to grow over 2019. As we expand, we have to mature as well, and one of the big pushes this year has been on documentation. I'm really pleased to say that we've reached 95% coverage of our nodes in our online documentation, up 40% over the last year. Yeah, I heard a little cheer over there. I cheer. I'm the guy who reports every Monday morning as to how far we've got through the completion, and we've reached a level where I think you can access what you need, and we've committed ourselves that every time a new feature comes out, that we will have 100% coverage on that feature in the documentation before it goes. Notch, since its very beginning, has been deeply rooted in partnerships, and those partnerships allow you to use Notch in your specific industries. And they've been with us since the beginning. They give us great support, cooperation, and their enthusiasm for real time has been amazing, and we just want to say thanks to them. In the last year, we've added a whole bunch of new features for when you're working with those partner media servers. So you can now bring in cameras, 3D points with much greater ease than you had to in the past. No more 20 million exposed parameters to be able to move a camera around on stage. We've added something called DMX hinting, which allows you to build your block as a lighting fixture for lighting desks and have all of those channel assignments made when you're using Notch Builder. And there's more to happen in that space in 2019. So, on the product side of things, in 2018, we launched base and subscriptions. So Notch Builder Base basically cut in half the price of accessibility of Notch when you're using it in a production environment. And subscriptions have made things just a lot more convenient for people to use. As a result of those two things, the growth over the last year has been unprecedented. It really is a rocket ship at the moment. And we're all benefiting out of that because there are many more people to share knowledge with, and it's great to see things like the Facebook community and other forums coming, really taking off. People are sprouting their own things, meetups in different cities as well. But not only that, the talent pool is growing. So if you need freelancers to be able to augment your in-house capabilities, there's more people available to you at the time. And it's helping us because we are getting an awful lot more product feedback. And so all of those of you who do send through your suggestions, thank you very much. We do read all of them, and they do flow into our product development cycle. So that's it from me about 2018. I'd like to now hand over to Matt Swoboda, founder of Notch and the evil overlord.
Thank you. Welcome to NotchCon. When I originally suggested that we do this, I was envisaging a small indie event where a few of our more advanced experienced users got together and we did some tutorial content and we all talked about our experiences. This has clearly got out of hand. And I'm really happy to see so many people here, and particularly so many of the brightest people in video from across Europe and the world. This isn't really a conference about Notch anymore. This is a conference about video. This is a conference which is something we've been missing in the video industry for a long time. This is a conference that brings together people who are doing great work in video to get them to talk about their experiences and learn from each other and socialize and so on. But it's also about Notch. But mainly it's about video. So let's talk about Notch. 2018 saw a load of new developments in Notch as a product. We added a ton of new features. We added rigid body physics, cloth dynamics, alembic support, 64-bit, layer pre-comps. We added a ton of new lighting features to make rendering quality better and better. We made our own video codec. We added temporal anti-aliasing, support for new AR workflows. We greatly improved the possibilities with procedurals, which makes them one of the more loved features of the user base these days. And we've been steadily trying to improve stability, performance, and reliability, and the user experience of the product as a whole. And thanks to constant lobbying from one of our product specialists, we also added a vector blur. Here's a short video showing some of our highlights in development from last year. So in the last few months, we made our own video codec called NotchLC. We decided we needed to make a video codec that was entirely encodable and decodable on the GPU, giving media servers the performance that they needed to be able to run large amounts of it on shows, but also giving content designers something that was super high quality, almost lossless, but also super fast to encode on the GPU. And we haven't stopped developing that. It was released in 0921, so it's already out there in Notch, but we've continued to develop it. And I'm happy to be able to say that in 0922, we'll be releasing a full set of Adobe plugins, so you will be able to encode and decode NotchLC in Premiere, Media Encoder, and After Effects. NotchLC is free for everybody, whether you use Notch or not. It's independent from Notch, the product. And we'll be looking to our media server partners over the next year to add support for NotchLC to their software so that it becomes an industry standard and takes us to a point where we can do high-quality video significantly beyond the codecs that are currently in use. So that brings us on to 0922 as a release. Seeing as we've got so many of our users here, it seems like it's a good time to talk about things we're doing next. 0922 is not going to be out until March, probably, at the earliest. And this is development, so this could almost certainly slip, so please don't take this as gospel. But we've been working on this for a while, and I want to talk about some of the new features we're adding in the next iteration of Notch. So one of the things our user base has been asking us to do is to be able to make Notch work on bigger and bigger render canvases. People want to go beyond 4K, 8K, 16K. They want to be able to render huge canvases and still use Notch as a real-time tool. So to that end, we've been working on making our simulation and rendering distribute across multiple servers and still remain in sync. Luke has a talk about this at 3 p.m. today called Breaking the 16K Barrier. So if this is something of interest to you, please go and see his talk. As Notch has been adopted globally, we had to add support for the non-English alphabet, begrudgingly in some cases. So you'll be pleased to know that in 0922, we now support Unicode character sets in our text rendering. There was one cheer for that. So when we brought in NotchLC, we kind of realized that what it had given us was a really high quality and fast to encode codec. And that made it really suitable for transcoding. So one of the bugbears with Notch has been that just from an ease of use and startup perspective, just from getting going, getting random video clips into Notch has been really difficult because we only support a small subset of formats. So we've added in 0922 that if you import a video that Notch doesn't natively understand, it will attempt to transcode it to NotchLC and play it back straight away. So hopefully that will make it much easier for everyone who combs content off Shutterstock and tries to shove it into Notch. Integrations have always been really important to us. And making support for formats and other software that our users want to use and work with all the time. Substance Designer is an amazing tool and an industry standard tool for making PBR materials and textures. And I'm pleased to say that in 0922, we have now added full support for importing Substance SBSAR files into Notch and dropping them straight in as materials. So this gives you a super easy, nice workflow for making PBR materials and textures, and it also gives you really easy access to their vast material content library. So that's a really exciting addition for us. And if you're interested, Will Smith has a talk I think it's 10 a.m. tomorrow, when I expect half of you won't be here because you'll be too hungover, about PBR in Notch and Substance as well. So we want Notch to be an industry standard for content creation in real time. And that means we want our users to be able to play it back in real time on projects in a whole range of media servers. We want you to be able to use the media server that suits you, that you prefer, and that works on your job. So with that in line, we're always trying to integrate Notch in as many of the leading media servers and platforms that we possibly can. we're very pleased at the end of last year to announce RealMotion as a partner. RealMotion now loads Notch blocks natively, directly. And they're exhibiting here today, so go and see them. They are on the lawn out there. Jeffrey's here. And go and check out RealMotion. AV Stuntful is releasing a new media server called Pixera, and Pixera will support Notch blocks loading at launch. They're going to be exhibiting at ISE, so go and see them then. And finally, this one's been rumored for a while. But yeah, this one's been rumored for a while, but I can officially tell you today that in a couple of months, you will be able to load Notch blocks inside Touch Designer, which is a fantastic new, I can see Scott Miller cheering at the back. So this is a fantastic thing for users of both programs to be able to combine the power of those two exceptionally powerful programs. We're big fans of Touch Designer for a long time, and I think this integration is going to unlock a whole new set of possibilities and projects. Notch has always been a real-time workflow. Our goal has been to bring a real-time workflow to artists and designers everywhere that was previously not accessible. And that's been the core of our user experience. And it's something that we're always trying to develop and build on. However, we completely recognize that it's not just render speed that matters when you're talking about user experience. What matters is how easy and straightforward and intuitive and fast it is to use the program as a whole, not just when you're rendering. So we're constantly trying to improve the UI and the user experience of the tool. And we've been putting more development than ever into building on the user experience. And you'll start to see the improvements of that in the next couple of releases. In particular, there's a new major overhauls to the timeline, the curve editor, to make the timeline increasingly familiar from those coming from, say, After Effects or Premiere. We're also standardizing camera keyboard controls and building a new baking workflow and a host of other improvements across the board. 2018 was a really good year in terms of improving the UI and the UX. We always want to do more. And those who've been with us for a long time will testify that since 2015, things really have come quite a decent way. But they're going to continue to go further and further. And this is one of our major development focuses now. So that's pretty much everything, except for one other thing. So Notch is a real-time renderer. And that comes with limitations. We all know it comes with limitations. We know it, and you know it. There's a limit to how far you can take the render quality of Notch. Until now. So we've decided to add a complete ray tracing, path tracing workflow to Notch, which is still real-time and interactive. This enables things like reflections, refractions, global illumination, ambient occlusion, and a really high-quality lighting workflow that was previously not possible, but still with the real-time Notch workflow that makes it enjoyable and fun to use in the first place. This is relatively new. We're still developing it. It's improving all the time and building on it all the time, but it will be in the 9.2.2 release. We're still kind of finding how far we can go, how far it can go. These are some of the things we've been making in the last week. And we're hoping that this means that Notch is going to be usable on a whole set of projects where previously you had to say, no, I've got to use something else because this is just not going to get the render quality I want. We want to remove that barrier. We want Notch to be able to use it everywhere. And I have a talk in approximately half an hour in this room where we'll be going through what we did and why we did it, and showing you a live demo as well. One important thing to note about this, given the many new GPU announcements of late, is that our ray tracing technology is available to every piece of hardware that can currently run Notch well. So you don't need to go buy a new GPU. There's a whole range of content in the next couple of days, and go and see as much as you can. Also, try and catch us, the Notch team, talk to us, have a drink with us later on, and enjoy the conference. And thank you very much for all our partners in making this happen. Thank you.